Hey guys, Hatter here. I just wanted to quickly jump in and let you guys know that our mini episodes are going to be moving to early morning on Thursday. So you're not going to lose any episodes. We're just slightly shifting the time to make a better balance between things. Anyways, thank you for listening and we hope you enjoy. Keep investigating.
New Orleans is a rich melting pot of different cultures. A city filled with music as it's the birthplace of jazz. One of the most captivating legends in New Orleans are those of vampires. Creatures as old as time itself who never age, immortal beings who stalk the streets of the French Quarter for centuries. But what if it runs deeper than a legend? What if there is some truth? Welcome to Investigation. I'm your host, Scoot, along with
Hatter.
We're going to be talking about the New Orleans vampires.
I picked up on that. And we teased it last episode.
And we did tease it last episode. So the legend starts with the Casket Girls.
The Casket Girls?
The Casket Girls. It comes from the French phrase, I'm going to try to say this to the best of my ability, filles à la cassette.
Okay.
Which roughly kind of translates to girls with little chests. Like, not like boobs, but
not
like...
I was like, that's kind of mean.
No, not boobs, but
not
like,
boobs.
like the actual, like, a chest.
A little, like, box.
Yes.
Chest. Gotcha.
Yes. Now, in the early 1700s, the new French colony of Louisiana was facing a population crisis, and also had concerns that the settlement would not endure.
Okay.
Because there wasn't many women in the settlement, it was mostly men.
Oh.
Yes. So to solve this problem, the French arranged for the transport of women to be sent over to be married off to local men.
Okay. Writing and reading about Louisiana, I did not realize how much French culture is rooted in there.
Well, that's where Creole, the language, it's French.
Right.
It's Cajun French. Yeah, it's...
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like, I didn't realize, I guess like I didn't, because I knew that, but I never like put it together.
Made the connection.
Yeah, because I think of Louisiana as just like down south.
No.
Yeah, but then it's like they have so much like French influence that I was like, oh my god.
Mm-hmm. Now, this problem was not new within like the French colonies of North America. Now, between 1662 and 1673, the French government sent about 800 women to the colony of New France in Canada to marry the men there. So this is something that they were doing to begin with.
Yeah.
Now, the women that they sent to Louisiana, when I was looking, kind of had like conflicting backgrounds in my sources.
Okay.
So we're talking ranging from orphanages and convents to prison and poorhouses.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So all kinds of different backgrounds.
Right.
Now, it took 6 months for the group of women to reach Louisiana.
Damn.
So when they left the ship, the residents of like Louisiana noticed how pale they were, like how pale these young women were. But you know, if you're on a ship for 6 grueling months below deck,
Right.
you know, you're probably going to be pale too.
Yeah.
Now, the trunks that held the little amount of belongings that they had were actually like, they were almost a wooden coffin shape, or at least so the legends say.
Okay.
Which I think I have a picture I can show you in a second.
Picture
Picture time. So that's kind of an example of what one of those would look like, which you can kind of see where you think it's like.
Yeah, it does look like a casket.
A little bit like a casket.
It's not so much like coffin shape,
Yeah.
but it does look like a casket.
Yeah. Now, they're called Ursulines, which they were also known as the Order of St. Ursula. So this convent founded a school in 1727, which many of the Casket Girls and other women attended until they were married. Now the convent, the actual like building of the convent building was built in 1751. Now, most of the Casket Girls were placed into unwanted marriages where they were like either mistreated by their husbands, while those who were left unwed were forced to find other means of survival, which include sex work.
Mm-hmm.
Now, upon hearing of this treatment, the King of France ordered that these women be sent back home to France.
Okay.
Yes. Now, a couple of my sources did say that shortly after the arrival of the Casket Girls, the city of New Orleans started experiencing mysterious deaths. I'm not sure about that, though. That's a little...
Okay. A couple of people were like, some people started dying at some point for some reason.
Now, in preparation for their departure, the cassettes, the chests, they filled them with all the young woman's possessions, and they brought them up to the room of the 3rd floor of the convent for storage.
Oh.
Now, the 3rd floor had always been sealed off, the windows shuttered, just so, to keep the belongings safe.
Mm-hmm.
So it was quite a shock to the nuns when they, I guess, later returned to go get the girls' belongings, to go fetch the belongings, and they found that the luggage was found empty.
Okay.
Supposedly.
So somebody just supposedly, like, got in there and took everything out?
Well, we'll get there. Well, there's a couple theories.
Okay.
Now, the legend says that the nuns panicked and then sealed the 3rd floor. Supposedly, they nailed the shutters closed with nails blessed by a pope.
Oh, so they thought that it was some supernatural thing that had happened.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, there's different variations of this. One variation says that the Casket Girls had smuggled in vampires from Eastern Europe, and that many believe that the vampires were wanting to return to their caskets on the convent's 3rd floor. That's one variation. And then the other variation is that the girls themselves were vampires, and the 3rd floor was to, them sealing off the 3rd floor, was to prevent the vampires from either returning to their coffins or to keep them locked in the 3rd floor with no escape.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, this convent, is it in Louisiana?
It is.
Okay.
It's still here in Louisiana, still open.
Oh, okay.
So this isn't just like
still sealed up?
As far as I'm aware.
Oh, Jesus.
As far as I'm aware, I didn't find anything saying it was unsealed. So.
Okay. Because at first I was like, because you had said that they were ordered to go back after the mistreatment.
Yes, the girls were ordered to go back.
Okay, so they went back, but their belongings stayed here.
As far as I'm aware, I couldn't find anything that happened after. Most of my research just ends where the nuns panicked and sealed off that 3rd floor.
Oh.
So I'm not sure what happened to the Casket Girls after.
Okay.
I know. But the convent is real. It is still in Louisiana, still active. So, who knows? Now, the Casket Girls themselves were real women, but I don't think they were vampires.
Right.
You know. So the next story is of Jacques Saint Germain. Do you know about that?
I don't think so.
I was going to say, a lot of people theorize about this gentleman. So
Okay.
I didn't know if you were like one of the ones that knew about this.
No, I mean, you might start talking about him and it might trigger something. Currently from his name, I got no clue.
Now, some think that the story of Jacques Saint Germain is connected to an even older legend, Count Saint Germain, a mysterious figure who lived in France during the 1700s. Some believe that the Count was an alchemist in search of the, quote, elixir of life in order to stay young and live forever.
Oh.
Now, documents do show that the Count died in 1784, but rumors spread that he never truly passed away, that he merely stepped into a new state of being.
Oh.
Now, some theories even say that he may be even older than that and possibly trace him back to the wedding of Cana during the time of Jesus Christ.
Oh.
So that's a theory. But let's go return to Jacques. Now, Jacques Saint Germain arrived in New Orleans in early 1900s. And he quickly established himself as a man of wealth, refinement, education. He also claimed to be the descendant of the Count Saint Germain.
Okay.
He took a residence in, a house on Royal Street. He began throwing lavish parties for the city's elite.
Wait.
Yes.
The same Royal Street that the Delphines...
Yes.
The same one.
Same street.
Oh, okay.
Same exact street. You know, he was known to be charismatic, spoke multiple languages, spoke of history like he had even been there, and he told tall tales of adventure. And despite the claims that he never ate any food that was provided, he only drank what appeared to be red wine.
Oh, but it was blood.
But it was blood.
But it was blood.
Now, he was said to be a charming womanizer. He often ventured through the French Quarter to meet young women,
You know.
You know. The legend takes a more sinister turn when a young woman was invited into his home one evening and then fled the house, and that she had actually jumped out of the second story of his house.
Oh, geez.
Now, she was probably either a sex worker or like one of the guests of his lavish parties that he had. One or the other, we're not sure.
Right.
Now, her claim is that while she was looking over objects on his mantle, Saint Germain lunged at her and bit her neck.
Oh.
And as he was attacking her, there was a knock on the front door, which momentarily distracted him, which gave her the opportunity to escape and jump off the balcony.
Okay. Now,
Yes.
not that jumping at somebody and biting their neck without consent is okay in any way, because it's not. But are we sure he wasn't just like a little bit freaky?
I mean, he could have been.
He
could have been. It could have been just a little bit of a freaky thing.
Yeah.
Now the police did speak to Saint Germain. Now he assured them that he made no such attack. Now, because of how late it was when they questioned him, he agreed to visit the station the next morning to give a formal statement.
Okay.
Now, the next day, Saint Germain did not appear at the station.
Because it was daylight. He can't walk in the daylight. Sorry.
Oh, shoot. Now, the police returned to his house to retrieve him, but no one answered the door. So finally, after getting into the home, most of Saint Germain's belongings were gone.
Oh.
He apparently departed the previous night after the incident. Kind of weird.
Yeah, that's a little telling.
A little strange. Now, they did find a number of corked wine bottles. However, apparently upon further inspection, they realized that these bottles were filled with a mixture of alcohol and blood.
Okay.
No one knows where Jacques Saint Germain fled, and police were never able to find him.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Now, some sources say there were witnesses who described a tall figure in old-fashioned clothing, speaking a strange old accent, and the figure is seen vanishing into alleyways or slipping into abandoned buildings. Now, some of my sources also say that in the 1970s, when a man named Richard Chanfray, now I guess Richard claimed to be the Count Saint Germain. So, like, the original Count.
Like Jacques, like, dad.
Yeah. The originator.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Now, during the 1970s, Richard began appearing on television, claiming to be the Count, and then he also supposedly was demonstrating the ability to be able to change lead into gold in front of audiences.
Okay.
Apparently. But however, Richard would later die by suicide in 1983. I know. Now, there is some record of a Jacques Saint Germain in New Orleans, but that was in 1895 and 1890. So a little bit earlier, like a few years earlier.
But that's not like...
It's not too far off.
Right.
But he was also an engineer. And, you know, I don't think engineers back in that time threw lavish parties and...
Yeah, I couldn't really imagine that happening.
So, you know, time frame's a little bit earlier, and it's a little bit different than the legend.
Right.
Now, we also have the Carter brothers during the Great Depression. And in 1932, a young woman was storming down Royal Street. Do we see a connection?
Yes. Avoid Royal Street at all costs.
Now, she was physically panicked, and her wrists were cut, but not too deeply to be bleeding to death.
Okay.
Now, she got the attention of some nearby police officer who took her to the hospital. Her story is that she had been tied up and kidnapped by two men who then took her home on Royal Street and held her captive so they can drink her blood.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Isn't it kind of strange? There's just a whole lot of legends around vampires in New Orleans. It's really kind of crazy.
That, and, like, they're all on the same street.
It's all in the same area.
On the same street that the
house.
What was...
Lalaurie.
And it's like, maybe we should just stop going there.
Stop going to that street.
Yeah.
Now, the girl claimed that she was only able to escape due to the carelessness of her captors in securing the restraints. So the restraints weren't tight, so she was able to make the escape when they weren't there, I meant.
Okay, yeah.
Now, of course, police are going to be skeptical of this girl's claim because that's something wild to tell. That's insane.
Right, yeah. Like, my first thought, if somebody came up and said that to me, I'd be like, you're maybe in shock and, like, seeing things. Like,
Yeah.
that's a little far-fetched. But...
Yes. Police apparently had followed her back to the apartment, which was on the corner of Royal and St. Anne. This apartment belonged to John and Wayne Carter. Now, upon entering the apartment, the officers supposedly found 4 men and women half alive, bound to chairs in one room. Their wrists were covered in blood-stained bandages.
Oh.
Now, according to some sources, there was another room where there was the smell of decomposition, and there was more dead victims in that part of the apartment.
Oh.
Yes. And it seemed like what the brothers would do is they would leave early each morning just before daybreak and then returned every evening just after dark to feed on their victims by cutting the victim's wrist, filling a cup with it, and, you know.
So they were, like, being bougie about it, too.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yes, no, speak your thoughts.
I'm just dead silent for a second because I'm trying to think.
The wheels are turning.
Right. Are we sure? Like, I want to believe in vampires because that'd be cool, but not like this. And also, like, are we sure they just weren't, like, also freaks who were just, like, on some bullshit
You know,
and trying to drink blood?
I'll get to there.
Okay.
We'll get there. Now, the police recruited a total of 8 officers to be ready in the home to capture the men at the apartment. Upon returning home, the 2 men were ambushed by the officers. However, some sources say that it took all 8 officers to subdue these men
Oh.
and take them into custody.
Damn.
They'd be
Okay.
strong.
They'd be strong, motherfuckers.
Now, I guess these 2 men worked at the docks, which would explain more as to why they left early and came home late. You know, so I'll throw that in there. Some sources say that the 2 brothers told the police that they were vampires, and they also told the police to kill them. Oh, that they would need to keep killing people in order to survive and would not stop. Which is kind of meh to me.
Right, yeah. It feels like somebody who has a delusion that they're a vampire.
Perhaps. Now, the story goes that the Carter brothers were put on trial for their crimes. They were found guilty and sentenced to death. Now we got some variation in this story. In one of the versions, the brothers were executed at the same time and placed in the same crypt. And a year later, their bodies were going to be exhumed. However, the corpses of John and Wayne Carter had vanished.
Oh.
So that's one variation. The other variation, one brother died before the other. When the second brother was going to be placed in the same crypt, it was discovered that the first had disappeared.
Either way, a body is gone.
Either way, a body's gone. And now there was technically a third version where they just simply escaped.
Okay.
Yeah. Sightings of the men matching their descriptions continued to circulate around the quarters for decades. Now, I had a much harder time finding anything to back up this legend, not even a source of truth. So I find that this one is probably either completely made up, or maybe perhaps there were some bodies found in New Orleans and the story just got out of hand, because I could find nothing. I put a source out there where someone had used the death penalty, like, to be able to search people like that went through the death penalty during certain time frames. Couldn't find anything. So, something don't smell right with this one.
If anything, it also could be that, like, that they escaped more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, the fact that they were killed and then body's gone is a little like,
Yes. Yeah, so I had a hard time finding anything to actually back any form of truth in this one.
Right.
So, now there is actually a community of people who identify as vampires, but not in the supernatural kind of way, from my understanding. I don't know if you've heard of these people. You know what I'm talking about.
A little bit.
We're going to talk about it just a tiny bit.
Yeah, I believe I saw a TikTok of a girl who believed she was a vampire in some capacity, so she would have her friend come over and he would willingly bleed for her to drink. So, yeah, I know a little bit about people who think that they're vampires.
Now, I guess it's a subculture with its own social structures, belief systems, and even, I guess, places to gather. the New Orleans Vampire Association,
That's what you guys came up with? That's your name?
aka Nova for short.
That's your name? You guys could have created something so fucking cool. And you just called it what it was?
Yep.
The New Orleans
Vampire
Vampire
Association. Now, they have operated openly in New Orleans for years. I mean, I guess they've even planned like charity events and done things like feeding the homeless.
Well, good for them.
You know, it's
all right.
now I guess I'm gonna call them Nova for short. I mean, I guess they work to like provide support and resources for people who self-identify as vampires and I guess their allies. I know.
I'm
We mean no disrespect.
I'm not
She's just a little shocked right now. We mean no disrespect, I promise.
No, I'm not like judging, because like, do what you want to do. You know, I always say like, as long as you're not hurting me, yourself, or somebody else, I don't give a fuck.
Yes.
I really don't. It's just one, how this kind of lines up, and two, like, I can't get over the name. Like, they could have called themselves something so cool. Like,
Oh, shoot.
you're a society of vampires. And you just literally were like, yeah, we're the New Orleans Vampire Association. Like, just, like, you could be wearing robes and doing cool shit, and instead you make it sound like you're wearing a business suit, you know?
Well, I guess, like, so, they have a website.
They have a website, of course.
I mean, I guess, and these are people, they're just normal people. We're talking lawyers, teachers.
Right.
Just all kinds of people you wouldn't know in front of you that are in this type of association.
Right.
So, from the little research I could find on these people, there's two, I guess, types. I'm going to try to say this. Sanguinarians, which these are the people that consume small amounts of blood from willing donors.
Right.
And then there are psychic vampires who claim to feed on the emotional and spiritual energy of people rather than blood.
Please tell me you've watched What We Do in the Shadows.
I've heard of it.
Oh my god.
I think I've seen like the first couple episodes. I haven't watched it all the way through.
It's fucking great. So it was a movie, and then then they did a TV show about it. And a lot of the sound clips get really popular on TikTok.
Yeah.
But like the one that's like, I don't give a fuck, his name was Mike.
His
That's
Mike.
That's from the show.
Yeah.
But so it's like, it's 3 vampires living in a house, but there is like a 4th vampire, but he just makes an appearance, but he's an emotional vampire. And so the entire time he's super like mundane and monotone, but he like gets energy from like draining the life force out of people. But all the other vampires are like, oh my god, this guy, he's such a drag. If you haven't watched it, you should watch it. It's funny.
I'll have to watch a couple more episodes. Like I said, I watched the first few episodes. I haven't gotten very far in it.
I didn't get all the way through it either yet, but it is funny. Maybe we could do that, like, especially we talked about for our Patreon, doing like watch parties kind of thing. Maybe we could like watch What We Do in the Shadows.
That's a good idea. Now, I guess there may be even like guidelines about feeding and like consent to feed.
Yeah, which,
Valid.
if you're gonna be a vampire, like, don't be a weird one like the ones earlier we were talking about where they're
Consent.
like, right, killing people. Don't do that. Just, or like the one I talked about on TikTok. She's like, I got my friend and he gives me his blood.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right.
Now, there's not a whole lot of information out there on the internet about them or their beliefs, but I can link their website down for you guys so you can do your own research. I can read a little bit from the website if you'd like.
Like, yeah, read us a little bit.
All right. Let me see. Do you want to know the abouts, like the history, or do you want the guiding philosophy? What do you want? What do you want me to read?
I don't know. Just give us a little taste.
Beginning after Hurricane Katrina in 2005, a group of self-identified vampires, known to each other through a social interaction and having various affiliations with different communities, both national and international, agreed that the stability of the vampire community in the New Orleans area might benefit from a local association or organization of some type. While maintaining their alliances and keeping channels open to other groups, they begin meeting to discuss their developing shared vision and details of organizing the association. Nova members were from the beginning already involved in educational and charitable outreach activities. Some of these are supported by the newly formed Nova, such as the feeding of the homeless and all who would partake at Christmas, Thanksgiving, and Easter in the famous French Quarter center and original establishment of the city of New Orleans. Nova itself was formed as a non-profit corporation with an effective date of February 14th, 2011. The Nova Council, its governing body, is currently in the process of developing its bylaws and operating procedures and will be filing with the International Revenue Services, IRS, for recognition as a corporation in the very near future. Short-term goals include fundraising to continue and expand feeding operations, as well as creating a fund for realization of long-term goals, primary of which is property of its own to provide food and shelter for those in the community in need.
Okay.
So that's in the history of Nova.
Right. Which, like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of like, you guys are like a vibe.
It's a vibe.
Like, you're like, yeah, we're vampires, but we feed the homeless and we do good things.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right.
Now, there is a section in the website called houses. I don't know what that means. I guess there's houses. I guess there's different categories of people. I'm just going to click on one of these and we're going to I'm clicking on the Houses of Muses. Headed by Lorelei, this house of many talents is comprised of artists and musicians from all walks of life. It embraces and supports the creativity that springs from trials of life transformed into beauty and power. So I guess maybe there's different houses within this organization depending on where
your hobby / career.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Like I said, there's not a lot. There's not a lot here.
Right.
So like I said, we'll link this for you guys to go check out and do your own research for.
All right. I mean, I can get behind it.
So what do you think? What do you think about the Vampires of New Orleans?
I'm a little disappointed that the other ones, the older ones, seem to be just like crazy people on some bullshit. Like actually harming people and things like that. I am kind of vibing with that there is a New Orleans Vampire Association. Like, yes. I think that's pretty cool and pretty fun.
It's pretty dope.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's always been people have said for years that there's vampires in New Orleans. I'm not even talking about the actual association. Right. I'm talking about like the supernatural. Like people have said that for years. And I thought, oh, that'd be a cool thing to talk about. Talk about a little bit of the history of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard some people like comment about it, or, you know, like a TikTok will pop up and they're like, somebody's talking about vampires or whatever, and they're like, check out New Orleans and the vampires there and stuff, and it's always like, what?
Yeah, I know, you wouldn't think, but
right. Well, that's pretty cool.
Well, that wraps up my case for the Vampires of New Orleans.
Hell yeah. If you like this, or maybe if you're a vampire, share this with your mother.
Share it with your mother.
You can catch us next Sunday, as always. We appreciate all the recent love we've been getting. And yeah, so keep investigating and we'll catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.